Hey guys, what's up? Nate here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I've got a brand new library from UVI that we're going to be checking out. This is based on the Programmer 24 and SM100 from Solton, and these were one of the original sort of arranger keyboard slash groove boxes from 1985. It featured some analog sounds as well as a PCM drum section. It's got a fantastic retro sound, and it was sort of quite instrumental in the sound of the Italo disco movement in the 1980s. Obviously, being UVI, it's pretty much impeccably sampled and really retains that character from the original hardware. We're going to dive in and check this out. Just remember, if you guys enjoy the content, please hit that like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notifications bell, so that you can stay up to date with new videos on the channel. Let's dive in. We're going to take a look at what this can do. Right, so here we have the Program 24. Now, this is quite a niche library from UVI. It's not nearly as editable as some of the other ones like the OBXA or the Moog library. However, if you are a fan of that 80s Italo disco sound or synthwave kind of stuff, it really is a fantastic library and a great source of inspiration for getting ideas and kind of laying down stuff pretty quickly and then editing it up afterwards to suit your song or track that you're working on. So we're going to very briefly just take a look at the different sections here and what's on offer, and I think then just to check out some of the sounds, because that's really where the magic happens, is the great selection of presets they have available here. So, as per the original hardware, there was a PCM drum section. We can come in here and take a look at the drums. You've got the original kit from the Program 24. We can play back preset loops. There's quite a big selection of various different patterns in here for you. If you want some more editability, you can just drag these out into your DAW for editing further, and you can use these just as a kit as well if you just turn off the on-note trigger. So very nice kind of retro sounding drums. They've also added in a few extra kits here, the DMX Lindrum 808 kit as well. Then some more modern sounding kits from Drum Designer as well. Moving on, we've then got our instrumental sections. So the bass part as well as the accompaniment parts all feature the sample selection over here. Now, as I said, they're not incredibly editable, but they do have that sort of vintage magic to them. There's a number of different bass sounds that you can choose here, as well as the accompaniment sounds. You've got a fairly extensive selection of different sounds that you can pick here. These all have sort of basic filter editing, as well as amp envelopes. And you've got your effects section here. And then down at the bottom, you've got a pretty cool arpeggiator section, which runs in a chord mode or in a classic arpeggiator mode as well. So this is kind of taken from the newer arpeggiator in Falcon. It's the same kind of scripts that they've kind of simplified here. You have some settings for gates, the gate length, the octaves, pitch, as well as you can play back chords as well in the chord mode. And it will follow whatever chord input you play live into this as well. And then lastly, we have the organ string section, which is not arpeggiated, but just has the original cello and violin preset patches that you could play on the originals. And that can be blended with the organ sounds down at the bottom. So these also come in different variants. You have the single instrument section, so you can load up just the drum kits, just the bass part, string part, for example, or the accompaniments, the poly accompaniment mode here. And once again, you can scroll through the different sounds that you have available. Cool. So we're going to cut off there with the overview of how this functions. It is fairly simple to get to grips with. What I want to do is rather run through some of these sounds because, as I said, the presets are pretty inspiring if you like this kind of 80s sound and you're looking for that kind of retro vibe for your productions. We'll start off with the Roots Italo Disco section, obviously all inspired by the Italo Disco movement in the 1980s. Let's check some of these out. You can see they're picking up whether I'm playing a major chord or a minor chord, automatically syncing the melodic parts to that chord that I'm playing. So these all have quite an old school sound to them. We're going to move on to some of the more modern ones. There's some really great stuff in this synthwave section. We'll take a listen to a few of these. Let's move into the modern disco section, obviously kind of beefed up a little bit with some slightly more modern sounding tones in these. One or two examples from the slow beats section. There's a whole bank of 808 stuff as well. Let's check these out. No points for guessing where that was inspired from. There's one patch here called 1Nate. We've got to check that one out. Let's dive into the miscellaneous section. Cool. And then lastly, you've got the original patches from the original hardware. They are pretty cheesy, but if you're looking for that authenticity, they are there for you. Cool. So lastly, before we wrap up this video, you've got like a taste of these sounds in this now. I'm just going to take a look at one way that I find this quite inspiring. We can start off with a patch from the synthwave section, for example. I'll just drop a note in and loop this section. Cool. And so just by running through some of the presets in the individual sections, you can kind of remix these presets they've got as well quite quickly and come up with new ideas. Like I said, that you can then take out and re-edit. You can export the MIDI and create whole tracks with these as well. But just a great starting point for coming up with ideas. So we can run through these. We'll go with one of the disco ones, for example. Few extra notes. And then we can just bring in maybe one of these solo instruments as well to kind of play some extra melodies over the top of that. So we can just grab our single instruments and let's just go with the accompaniment mono or even the strings. There you go. Great retro sounding tool and great for inspiration if you're looking for this kind of stuff. I really like this one. Like I said, it is a bit niche and it's not going to be for everyone, but I do think if you're looking for this kind of 80s vibe, definitely a cool tool to add to your arsenal. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys soon right here at Marula Music. Cheers.